All right, we're 2-3, and today we're talking about comparing and ordering. Talking about comparing and ordering. Okay, this is a useful lesson for the rest of your algebra experience and for other disciplines too. You need to be able to compare numbers and order them. And the reason that gets a little bit tougher is because now we're dealing with integers, and that means we're dealing with negatives. So if we don't understand negatives very well, it's going to be hard to compare. All right, go ahead and draw me a number line. And let's go, if you can, go from -6 all the way to +6. So if you could do that. So -6 all the way to +6. And we're going to look at this number line throughout the lesson, so make sure it's clear when you do there. I'm going to go a little bit differently than what the book goes with because we can adjust our lesson to what we're doing here. Okay, can someone give me a positive number that they want to use from this number line? Nothing beyond 6, positive number. Yes, Sydney? 4. All right, we'll go with 4. So I'll put a circle on 4. That means we have just graphed 4. And then someone give me a negative number, nothing lower than -6. Yes, ma'am?
-3.
-3. Is that what they picked?
Yes.
Okay, well, that's fine. We'll use it. Okay, we're going to use these two numbers. So we have -3 and +4. And we want to compare the two. So we want to ask which one is the bigger number or which one's the smaller number. So does anyone know which one's the bigger number? Let's see. Braden? +4. And therefore the smaller number has to be -3. Now, give me 2 reasons why 4 is bigger than -3. 2 reasons. That means give me 2 justifications of why that is. Because, okay, yeah, that sounds good, but why? Tristan, give me one.
Because -3 is less than 0.
Okay, and what else? -3 is less than 0, and 4 is greater than 0. So yeah, it would be -3 is less than 4. Okay, give me another reason. Jack.
Because any positive number is bigger than a number with a negative sign.
I love that. Any positive number is always going to be greater than any negative number. Always, right? So what's the smallest positive number on this number line? Smallest positive number. Elizabeth? 1. And pick any negative number that's graphed here, or that's not even graphed here. That's going to, now listen to my question. Pick any number that's going to be bigger than +1. Oh. All right.
+6.
No, pick any, negative number that's going to be greater than +1. Yes, Callie?
None of them?
None of them. All these numbers here cannot be greater than +1. Okay, good. So you guys gave me 2 good reasons. Okay, this is one comparison. -3 is less than 4. By the way, if you're confused with like, where should it point? Where does it open up? A good way the book says it is that the arrow always points to the small number. Arrow always points to the small number. Does that make sense? The little point is that small number. Okay. How would I compare these two numbers? 4 and -3. So there's a little comparison symbol here. What should that be? Bella? 4 is greater than -3. Same 2 numbers in different order, but you can still compare them. How many of you, if I gave you 2 numbers, you can compare them in one way and the reverse? You can do it. Really? Wow, that's amazing. All right, ready? -5 and -1. -5 and -1. I want you to compare those one way and reverse it and compare it the other way as well. And actually, what I'll do this. -5 and -1. -5, -1. Okay, give me one comparison here. Tristan.
-1 is greater than -5.
So you said -1 is greater than -5. And what's the second comparison? John?
-5 is less than -1.
Okay. That is true. One reason is, well, I don't get this. Remember how we said with these, one was bigger than 0, one was less than 0, but how do you compare these two? They're both negative. So what's the rule with that number line? This is the whole point of this lesson. What's the rule with that number line? Jensen?
Whichever negative number is closer to 0 is the bigger number.
Okay, so the closer a number is to 0, if it's negative, the closer it is to 0, the bigger it is. Good. And what's the general trend? As you go to the right on a number line, what happens to the numbers? They get
Smaller.
to the right, sorry. They get
Sorry.
to the right.
Bigger.
Bigger, right? Aren't they getting bigger? And then if you go to the left, they get smaller. So look at this right here. Look at these two numbers. -1 is here, -5 is there. So -5 is to the left of -1. Means -5 is smaller than -1. Isn't that kind of confusing though? Because don't we usually think that 5 is bigger than 1? Yeah, +5 is bigger than +1, but not -5 and -1. Okay. Do you guys remember absolute value?
Yes.
All right, let's see if you guys remember this. Ready?
Oh, yeah.
How many of you are good with these comparisons with these two sets? You guys good with this, and this? You guys okay with that so far? Okay. Which number out of these two is greater? Which number is greater? So kind of looking at this, kind of think, okay, we asked this. Callie? Which one's greater? -1 is greater. You guys okay with that?
Yes.
Okay, which one's the smaller number? Yes, ma'am? -5 is the smaller number. Now, listen to this third question. Which number has a greater absolute value? Which one has a greater absolute value? Rosa? -5. Wait, I thought -1 was bigger. Caroline?
But the absolute value is the how many numbers it is away from 0.
Yeah.
More numbers that are away from 0.
So absolute value, how far is -5 from 0?
5 units.
5 units. And how far is 1 from 0? 1 unit. So which one has a greater absolute value? -5. Can you distinguish among those questions? Can you answer which one's the lesser, which one's the greater, and which one has a greater absolute value? Can you answer those questions? Good. Okay, so I hope you guys can, because that's basically what you're doing on this lesson. Okay, look on page 79. This is really easy. I mean, I hope very easy, but don't get these negative numbers mixed up. Okay, on page 79, look at number 5. Read the instructions out loud, and somebody tell me what you have to do, because you read them and then I hope you understand what it means. Okay, Sophie, read the instructions on numbers 5 and 6.
5 and 6.
Yep, or like number 5.
Okay. Write an equality using the numbers in each sentence. Use the symbols greater than or less than.
Okay, so write an inequality using the numbers in each sentence. Use the symbols less than or greater than. Okay, so on number 5, okay, this is what you're going to do for number 5. What two numbers are they comparing? So it says 2 degrees is warmer than -5 degrees. So what are the two numbers we're comparing? Josie. +2 and -5. Okay. So what's the comparison symbol? Is it the less than or the greater than? Which one is it going to be? Less than or greater than? 2 is blah to -5. Rosa?
2 is greater than.
Greater than. Okay. When you have this sentence right here, 2 is greater than -5, this is called an inequality. Okay? What are the inequality symbols? Less than and greater than. And these are the two we're going to look at today. There are others, but these are the two inequality symbols. You got to know them. You got to know them. And again, if you need the alligator teeth to come out, or what are the other things you guys learned? The bird. Oh, the beak. Getting going for the smaller number, whatever it is. You got to know what those symbols are from here on out. Okay, that's number 5. Number 6. Wow. 5 is greater than -3. Number 6. 5 is greater than -3. They basically gave it to you. 5 is greater than -3. All you have to do is rewrite that in inequality form. You guys okay with those? Okay. Look at number 11. Oh. What does it say to do on number 11? Sorry, Sophie.
Order the integers 43, 0, negative 9, negative 4, 3, negative 88, 234 from least to greatest.
Okay, there is something that they said that's very important. It says order these numbers, all right, in the set from what? Least to greatest. Mr. I did it from greatest to least. How do I mark that on your homework? Wrong, because it says from least to greatest. Sometimes they'll say greatest to least, sometimes least to greatest. Follow the instructions. All right, so out of that group, what is the smallest number out of all those numbers? What's the smallest number? Caroline?
Negative 88.
Negative 88 is the smallest number because it is all the way to the left of all of those numbers. Which one would be next? Callie?
Negative 9.
Negative 9 would be next. What would be after negative 9? Elizabeth?
Negative 4.
Negative 4. All right. Next. Braden.
3.
Before 3.
Oh, 0.
0 would come out. So we're now in the neutral category and now getting into the positives. Max? 3 would come next. What's after 3? Michael? 43. And I think we're almost to the end. So the last number, what's the greatest out of all of these? Marissa? 234. And then you link them up in these braces. That's the order. That's your answer. Okay? Again, if I had a number line, wouldn't this be all the way to the left? Then I'd go more to the right, more to the right, more to the right, all the way to the far right, which would give me that number. Wouldn't that be a big number line? I'm thankful we don't have to do that today. Okay. Let me give you your homework, and then you can get started on it. Please listen carefully to my instructions. I'm trying to help you out. Okay, on page 80, you're going to be doing 15 to 43. 80, page 80. 15 to 43. You're like, oh my goodness, no. Yes. Yes, I hope it is. Now, on 15 to 26. On 15 to 26. You have to write the whole inequality. You got to write both numbers with the correct comparison symbol. Do you understand?
We understand.
Yeah. Excuse me? Yes, sir. Well, you know what? I forgive my son, who's 2.5. He talks to my wife and we're teaching him to say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And he was talking to his mom all day. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. And then he comes to me and I said, what do you say, Ezra? Yes, ma'am. No. Yes, sir. I'm sir. And then he's like, oh, yeah, okay. So I forgive my son. He's 2.
I still do that.
Yes. Oh, thank you for that. I haven't changed it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, today's the 27th, and then again it's 15 to 43. But for 15 to 26, you got to write the whole inequality. For 27 to 33, the whole inequality. Just write the two numbers and how they compare. 34 to 37. What does it say to do on 34 to 37? Write two inequalities. You're like, how can you come up with 2? Remember how we wrote a number compared to one number? And then we wrote another inequality with the same 2 numbers reversed. That's all at once. And then 38 to 43, write the order, least to greatest.
So 43 is the last.
43 is the last one. Oh my.
That-
One more
that was
minute.
Bell.
Yeah, one more minute. Bell's off.
15 to 40.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. I hope not, guys. It really is just like identifying which ones are greater. 15 to 43.
Oh, don't forget to fold it.
I don't fold it. I just draw a line.
Anyone have their? I'm gonna turn off the.